Good evening, folks. And here we got another story about I don't know who this writer is, but she's apparently from Marvel Studios for She-Hulk. And I haven't seen her work. I don't know what she's doing, so not important. It's her opinions on South Park and her comments on Twitter that are just too funny to pass up. They're just so bizarre. Now, if you don't know South Park, I'm not a fan of the show. I haven't really watched it. It's a satire of all sorts of American things, political things, social things, economic things, all sorts of things. It's a parody, it's a satire, and it's a beautiful thing. That's one form of criticism that I have to respect. I'm no good at it, but I can see it as a genre that you say, oh, okay, they're making fun and showing just how wrong or silly or illogical or ridiculous life is. And we need that. We need that. And that's what's part of in America's First Amendment or Canada's second part of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms or whatever freedom of speech in the world you come from, that parody, satire, spoofs, whatever, are protected. And they're protected for a reason. Because we need those people to tell us and poke fun at things in life, which is basically comedy anyway, whether it's specifically about this or that politician or this or that idea. So it's very awkward, it's very strange to see another writer talk about another piece of media and say it does cultural damage. That is a strange thing to say. I don't know how a piece of fictitious media, which is satire, hurts people. Because when anything I don't like or makes me uncomfortable or that I can't withstand, for whatever reason, whatever emotional spectrum I'm on that day, whatever drugs I'm on, whatever I'm feeling, and I'm like, oh, I can't watch Days of Our Lives. It's going to make me cry. Guess what? I stand up and I walk away. Problem solved. No cultural damage has been done. Now, if there is some sort of language or dialect or mannerisms or cultural milieu that I'm missing, that Americans are adapting lockstep after watching years and years of South Park, okay, let's talk about it. I've never seen that. I doubt that's a thing. So I really want to know what the devil this lady is talking about. Because she's a writer and she can't be that stupid, right? So here are some of her tweets. In retrospect, it seems impossible to overstate the cultural damage done by South Park, the show that portrayed earnestness as the only sin and taught that mockery is the ultimate inoculation against all criticism. I don't think it's ever said that. I think it says many, many things. Every episode is unique in that regard. Amidst all the various toilet humor and various other jokes they make. But there's mockery and satire and parody are forms of criticism. They're not very effective forms, but there's nothing wrong with using criticism against criticism and then to keep going on in an endless cycle of bashing each other over the head until there's nothing left. And doing it in a fun and entertaining way with stock animation or stop animation, stop and go animation. I'm not seeing the problem here. Smugness is not the same as intelligence. That's true. Provocation isn't the same as bravery. Again, we have words for a reason. Thank you, Dana. The lesser of two evils aren't the same. Well, fantastic. These are just wonderful statements by Dana. That is just, she's teaching us a lesson here. And it's 3 lessons with 3 sentences about the meaning of words. Balloons are not crayons. Cars are not clouds. And running very fast is not the same as sitting down. It seems South Park, has been trying to reckon with this. I admit I haven't been watching this show in recent sessions, recent seasons, but I'm fascinated to see this, that the South Park issues rare apologies for man, bear, pig. I don't know what that is. And I'm curious if it's just not another joke, but I have no idea. And it just seems silly and awkward. To be clear, I don't blame the show itself as much as I do the generation of boys who internalized it into their personalities, which maybe isn't the show's fault. Okay, so here we have this really weird statement. Dana thinks because of the show, boys are now internalizing their brand of humor or political savvy or fart jokes or whatever into their personality, which means ascribing a behavior of a character on the show into their behavior, which would have to be very specific. You can't just generalize this, but she did, which maybe isn't the show's fault. So now she's not blaming the show. She's blaming the kids. She's blaming boys. Bravo, Dana. Not only are you really dumb when it comes to understanding media, now you're trying to be a psychologist and you're just attacking children who happen to be male. Not looking very good for you there, Dana. It's not a pretty sight. Like, this went from laughing at you to just being sorry for you. Somehow boys are the problem because they're juvenile and childish. Well, newsflash, everyone's juvenile and childish when they're children. Kind of like that A is not B statement before, you know. Stupidity is not intelligence. To be clear, sorry, so that one. Some very normal, well-adjusted South Park fans. Yes, because you're tweeting, and naturally you're going to get people who tweet to you in kind and say things to make you understand how intelligent you are, Dana. Wah, quit complaining about me complaining about a cartoon I don't like. I write about a female version of a more popular male character. The world owes my takes on life. Respect. Ooch. Don't be upset because you're a woman and therefore genetically unable to be funny. Ooh. Well, she made a slap at boys. We can make a slap at girls, right? Look at you, mocking people for enjoying things. Oh. How dare the creators of South Park try to make people laugh with their political satire and toiletry jokes. F off, Dana. Who cares what people find humorous? Also, that bright red lipstick on your extremely pale face makes you look like a whore. Just an observation. Just as valid, sir. I salute you. Yeah, Trey and Matt were definitely born as 50-year-old millionaires and didn't create the show as piss-broke 20-somethings sleeping on piles of laundry. Effing retard. I think these are all valid, if not... they're true. I'm going to go with they're all true. My point... Oh, now she has to clarify, because, people further responded to her, of course. My point was that South Park seemed to teach that it was always cooler to be reactionary and contrarian, and anyone who criticizes anything is offended, and that's the real problem. I don't think that's what it's saying. I really don't think that's... Whenever I criticize, I don't openly state, not only am I offended, my day is ruined. No, I don't say that. I just say my criticism. South Park does it in a more comical way, which is why those two gentlemen who made South Park are millionaires and I'm not. So they know how to tickle your funny bone and poke fun at people. Wonder if that's the message these fans absorbed, and I'm not going to read all that because Dana is obviously in her own little world and can't grasp the nuance or the feedback from these people who are telling her to chill out. Essentially, just calm down. You are attacking your own just because you don't like their style. That's like Michelangelo attacking Jackson Pollock. He wouldn't do that. He'd say it's trash, but he wouldn't go keep talking and try to defend his position because he wouldn't care. He'd be too busy painting the Sistine goddamn chapel. He wouldn't care about something he didn't like. So obviously Dana's being offended and intimidated by the success of South Park. Unless she has kids of her own and they watch South Park and she's trying to intellectualize or rationalize her children's behavior. I don't know here. This is very strange. People saying they make fun of everyone. That is my point. If that was your point, why didn't you say that to begin with? South Park is a political show, no shit, but one whose message is both sides are equally terrible, so the only correct thing to do is nothing while mocking it all from your position of intellectual superiority. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with making fun of politics or society or human relationships or how we talk to people or how we treat people or what we want or the crap we do to influence others and making it a show and entertaining people in the process? I'm not seeing the problem. Again, South Park's not for everyone. It's political satire. It does this. It does that. Great. I haven't watched it in years. What is her bag? What is her... I don't see why this is something to get angry about. And how it's damaging. Who is it damaging? Who is hurting here? If you talk to your parents like you do some of the characters on the show, you probably shouldn't talk that way. But that's how you were raised. It's nothing to do with the television influencing your habits and your ways of talking to people. You should be intelligent enough to get the comedy in the show to not behave that way. It's like, oh, that's a really crappy way of behaving with people. I shouldn't do that. That's why it's cathartic to people to watch these shows, because they are satire. They poke fun at things in an articulate certain way, which is comical. But of course, Dana's a writer. She knows this all. Matt and Trey are rich white guys, and they convinced a generation of scared, vulnerable young men that irony will never hurt them. There's many things ironic about Dana here and how she reveals herself to the world. And it's just, again, I feel more sad than comical. Oh. You're right. They mock anyone who cares about anything. Good for them. Whoop-de-flip-and-do. And they present mockery as a worthwhile and ideological position, when it's really only stasis? Perfect for two rich white guys. Again, so now she's attacking them for being male, for being white, and for being rich. Two things they have no control over: their gender, their sex, and their skin tone. I guess, technically you could change all those things. But for being rich, they got rich making South Park and making stage productions and doing other things. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. They made people happy. They made people laugh. They made people cry. They made people think about things differently in an entertaining fashion. That's a fantastic thing. Nope, the two-party system. Now we're getting into politics. Who knew? Gee, I wonder what side of the aisle she's on. The two-party system is a mess. She's talking about America, I hope. But instead of proposing real solutions or putting in the work to make things better, South Park decided the answer was making fun of anyone trying. Gee, maybe because it's a comedy show. It makes fun of things. What do you want? You want comedians to suddenly study some political science? Become engineers? Why can't they be clowns and comedians? Why can't they make people laugh? Why can't people just be happy doing what they're doing and Dana here not be envious of it? Because I can't see any other reason why Dana is attacking another writer or series of writers because they have a popular show, a very popular show. This is a very strange reaction to the mother hen mentality. There's nothing wrong with having a mother hen mentality. It's taking it this far when your job is a writer, when you are a person who is making fiction, same way South Park people are doing, for entertainment purposes. Again, it's like Michelangelo, a painter and an artist and whatever, never shutting up about how much he hates Jackson Pollock, if they were alive. It's just, Like no one cares. And it's odd to hear that from another artist or another writer. She keeps going. This is crazy. Not many cartoon comedies are as explicitly political as South Park. So what? Would you rather not have any political comedies? That's silly. Nor have they been as influential in shaping young viewers' ideologies. Fantastic. I don't know how she knows this, but that sounds like a very powerful, meaningful, funny, influential show. Bravo, South Park. I wish Dana's whatever she does is just as good, because then she'll know what the hell she's talking about. In that sense, I would argue that South Park actually does offer a solution, but their solution is just laughing at everything. What's wrong with that? So she admits it does have a solution, and it's all a joke. And if that is the answer, if that's Dana's conclusion, guess what, Dana? You got it. You figured it out. It's all a joke. That is the point of South Park. It's to make you laugh. And whether they're literally saying, hey, the two-party system in America is crap, it's all a joke, we should do away with it, or they're saying, hey, look, Trump shits on a golden toilet. Ha ha. Let's make a joke. It doesn't matter. If it makes you laugh, that's the end result. I don't know. I just find this entire response from Dana Schwartz a little bit ridiculous. Wow, she keeps going. Not taking anything too seriously is a privilege. Okay, here we go. We start using the left language here. Is a privilege of people who have never faced systemic discrimination. All right, what is systemic discrimination? Let's Google that, because I'm very curious. A pattern or practice, policy or class case where the alleged discrimination has a broad impact on an industry, profession, company, or geographic area. You don't think South Park got critics as soon as it came out? You don't think it was criticized and hated by people? I want to know, Dana, when I'm sure she's written stuff or she wouldn't be popular. Has anyone criticized her work when it first came out? I'm sure they did, especially on Twitter. Ironically, dismissing genuine issues as people being offended is pretty cowardly. Okay. If you're an artist, if you're a writer, and you care about people being offended, stop what you're doing. You're not a writer. The point of writing, the point of freedom of speech, is to say controversial things. Readers of good works, of fiction, of news, of articles, want to read about controversial things. If you don't want to, that's fine. But the people who know better or who have read a lot want the controversial stuff. I really like the Arc of Scythe trilogy. It's about a futuristic world where people have organized a group called the Scythes who kill people because of overpopulation. And there's an entire society of murderers, a culture of murderers who do this. And they train and they use different weapons. They have all these techniques in killing people. That's a pretty scary future. That's a dystopia. Amidst this other golden world where no one dies, or rather, no one dies of natural causes. We've conquered hunger. We've conquered all these things. And yet we have to control population. And that's an amazing concept that a writer put together. And satire is just looking at the world, looking at an individual element, putting a spotlight on it, and poking fun at how ridiculous and asinine and sad and disgusting parts of it are. There's parody, which just blows things out of proportion. There's spoofing. There's all different forms of expression for comical reasons. So at this regard, I do not believe there's anything as people being offended. There is no piece of media that can offend people that she considers a genuine issue. That is stupid. Especially to a writer. or a real writer. Like I can't even think of her as a writer anymore because of this sentence. Like she was already digging herself in deep, but this is like she's burying herself. That's that statement right there. If you are offended by this tweet, I'm sorry you're so easily treated. Oh my goodness. Like, yeah, she's done. I don't care. To hell with Dana Schwartz. Good luck in life, my dear. I really don't care what you have to say anymore. Whatever She-Hulk is, I don't care. If it's a movie, I'm not seeing it. Or has anything to do with Miss Marvel Studios, Dana Schwartz, I'm done. Way to alienate your potential fan base there, Dana. Saying stupid shit. Thanks for listening, guys. Have yourself a great Saturday.